pop out. So what do you mean by this parallel combination and how we can able to calculate the effective capacitance in parallel combination? Here also let us consider three capacitors. Let C1, C2 and C3 be three capacitors connected in parallel. Capacitors which are connected in parallel. If you are considering three capacitors connected in parallel, then I can represent the three capacitors like this. What is the parallel combination? See, in these three capacitors, all the positively charged plates are connected to one side and all the negatively charged plates are connected to the other side of the battery. So in parallel combination, all the positive plates are connected to one side and all the negative side plates are connected to other side, and the two ends are connected to a battery of potential V. In series combination, positive plate of one is connected to the negative plate of the other, or the negative plate of one capacitor connected to the positive plate of the other. But here in this case, in parallel combination, all the positively charged plates are connected to one end and all the negative plates are connected to another end. Across them, a potential difference of V volt is connected. See, in parallel combination, the charge flowing through each and every capacitor differs, but V, the potential difference across the capacitor, is constant. The potential difference across the capacitors is same, or we can say it is a constant. Because since they are connected in parallel, the potential difference across C1 is equal to the potential difference across C2 and the potential difference across C3. All are connected across V. So we can say potential difference is constant. But what will happen to the charge available? But the charge differs. Why the charge differs? Since value of capacitance changes. Value of capacitors or capacitance changes or differs. See, if you are considering the capacitors as C1, C2, C3, then automatically we will have different charges because C is equal to Q by V. Then if you are considering C1, C1 should be then Q1 divided by V. But Q differs since the value of the capacitance changes or differs. So how I can write this? We know that the capacitance C is equal to Q by V. I am in need of C1. C1 means instead of Q, potential is a constant. So if it is C1, C1 varies automatically, then Q1 should vary. So from this equation, I can write Q1 is equal to C1 into V. Similarly, I can write Q2 and Q3. What is the value of Q2 then? Q2 is C2 into V. Q3 is C3 into V. If that is the case, what is the total charge available in the combination? So I can write like this. The total charge in the combination is equal to Q. Total charge can be written as total capacitance multiplied with total potential. Since all the capacitors are connected in parallel, the total capacitance, let us consider it as Cp. So total charge can be written as Q is equal to Cp into V. So this total charge Q can be written as sum of the individual charges Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. So instead of Q, I can write CPV, which is equal to Q1. Q1 is C1V, Q2 is C2V, Q3 is C3V. So you just simplify. How you can simplify? CPV equal to, taking V as the common factor, C1 plus C2 plus C3. So this V will get cancelled. What will happen to Cp then? We can write Cp equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So when we are considering the effective capacitance in parallel combination, which is equal to sum of the individual capacitances. So how to define? We can define when the capacitors are connected in parallel. When the capacitors are connected in parallel, then the effective capacitance is equal to, then the effective capacitance is equal to sum of, equal to the sum of individual capacitances, sum of the individual capacitances. Hope you should have understood. But at the same time, when you are considering when the capacitors are in parallel, then the effective capacitance is equal to the sum of individual capacitances. So what will happen to the value? See, therefore we can say the value of the effective capacitance, the value of effective capacitance Cp is always more than or greater than, more than or greater than the greatest of the individual capacitance. Individual capacitance. Hope you should have understood. So if you are having three capacitors, for example, if you are having three capacitors, one of 2 microfarad, one of 4 microfarad, another one of 6 microfarad, the greatest value of this combination is 6. If you are calculating Cp, Cp will be equal to 2 plus 4 plus 6. The answer will be 12 microfarad. So 12 microfarad is always greater than that of the greatest capacitance in the combination. The greatest capacitance is 6. In this combination, the greatest value is 6. So we can say the value of the effective capacitance in parallel combination is always more than or greater than the highest of the individual capacitances. Are you able to understand?
Yes.
So this we are calling it out as the parallel combination. In series combination, we will be calculating 1 by Cs, reciprocal of the effective capacitance in series combination. In parallel combination, we are considering what? We are considering only the sum of the individual capacitances.
Okay.
See, there are also capacitors. If you can consider the capacitors in the form of sphere, then we are calling it out as spherical conductors or spherical capacitors. If it is a spherical capacitor, then it will be like this. You are having an inner sphere and you are having an outer sphere. So in between the gap between the inner sphere and the outer sphere, the gap will have what? The gap will have the dielectric medium, either air medium or some other dielectric. If so, these two spheres, one of radius, inner radius, let us consider it as A, and outer radius, let us consider it as B. Then this arrangement is acting like a capacitor, and that capacitor, we are calling it out as a spherical capacitor. If it is a spherical capacitor, the capacitance of the capacitor is given by the formula 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon 0, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 into, you will be getting 1 by 1 by 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into 1 divided by A minus 1 divided by B. So this equation is giving you the capacitance of a parallel spherical capacitor. So this is a concept. C is equal to, if the medium is other than air, if the medium is if the medium is other than air, that is in between the two spheres, if you are having some other dielectric medium, then the formula will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 epsilon r into 1 by a minus 1 by b. This is the capacitance of a spherical capacitor. Similarly, the capacitor may be in the form of a cylinder. In the form of a cylinder. If you are considering the capacitors are in the form of a cylinder, then we can call them as cylindrical capacitor. If you are considering the cylindrical capacitor, what is in cylinder? Cylinder is you are having two closed surfaces at the top and bottom to a height or to a length of L or H. So the height, let us consider it as L, or you can consider it as H. See, here you will be having an inner cylinder. If you are considering that inner cylinder, the radius of the inner cylinder should be taken as A and the radius of the outer cylinder taken as B. So, this is the center. Through the center. Inner radius oda value A avum, outer cylinder oda radius B avum consider panningena. Then the capacitance of the cylindrical capacitor is given as which C is equal to Q by V. We can write like this: 2 pi C is equal to 2 pi epsilon 0 K into L divided by 2.303 into log of 10 B divided by A, log to the base 10 of B by A. Here K, which is also can be written as epsilon R, known as dielectric constant. Isn't it? So the dielectric constant, if the medium is considered to be an air medium, then K is equal to 1. Isn't it? If the medium is air, that is in between the two cylinders, the gap in between the two cylinders is filled up with air, then the value of K or epsilon R equal to 1. Other than air means if the medium in between the two cylinders is, let us take like this, other than air. If the medium is other than air means, then the value of K will be greater than 1. Here also, if the medium is other than air medium, you can introduce epsilon R, or you can introduce the value of K, whatever may be, both are considered to be same. You just note down the formula alone. You may expect, or you can expect a problem in your entrance part for it. So I am considering a capacitor. The capacitance of the capacitor, let us consider it as C. This capacitor is connected to a potential difference, voltage V, so that this capacitor is charged. What is the amount of charge that was being given to the capacitor? Let us consider Q is the total amount of charge that is given to the capacitor. So in order to store the charge, what is the work done? We have to calculate. That work done is stored in the capacitor as electrostatic potential energy. So in order to obtain that expression, let us consider. Okay, consider a capacitor. Consider a capacitor of value C. Now that this capacitor is charged. Now this capacitor is charged by connecting it to a potential difference of V volts. So this potential difference of V volts is supplied by a DC source. Let us consider a DC source means let us consider a battery, and with the help of the battery we are supplying the electrical charge so that the capacitor can get charged. See, in order to store the charge, in order to store charge in a capacitor, in order to store a charge in capacitor, what we have to consider, some amount of work has to be done. So work has to be done. That work done is stored in the capacitor, as electrostatic potential energy, as what we have taken as electrostatic potential energy. So how to calculate that value? So for that, what I am doing is, let dq be a small charge. Let us consider like this. Let dq be a small charge stored in the capacitor. Okay. In order to store this small amount of charge dq, let dw be the work done. Let us consider like this. Let dw be the work done. See, what is the work done in storing a charge? Work done is nothing but the potential into charge moved. So the potential connected is V. The charge that I have stored for a small interval of time or for a small work done is considered to be dq. So dw is equal to V into dq. But we know that what is the value of the capacitance C? Because here the variable is dq, charge. So I have to replace V in terms of Q. So what is the value of C? Capacitance, we know that it is given by the formula C is equal to Q by V. Therefore, I can write V is equal to Q divided by C. Take this value and substitute in this equation. Therefore, dW equal to, instead of V, I can write Q divided by C into dQ. Am I correct? So this is the small work done in order to store the small charge at dq. So C is equal to, I have written it out as Q divided by C into dq. Now, in order to store a charge of Q coulombs, work done is equal to W. So what is the total work done? We have to calculate. What is the total work done then? The total work done W is, we have to take the integral or summation of the small work done dW, which is equal to integral of Q divided by C into dQ. See, when you are integrating, initially the work done is small. When you are considering the total work done is W. So we can say this should be integrated between the value 0. Initially, the charge available is 0, means work done is 0. The total charge given is capital Q, then the total work done is W. So we have to integrate this equation within the limit 0 to Q. So how to integrate this? Taking C as the common, because C is a constant. Integral of 0 to Q, Q dQ. See, now you integrate and substitute the limits. This total work done is stored as potential energy, which is represented by the letter epsilon, which is equal to 1 by C into, when Q is integrated, Q dQ, we can write it out as Q square divided by 2 within the limit 0 to Q. So you apply the limits. 1 divided by 2 is a constant. Take it out. Apply the limits. Upper limit Q square minus lower limit 0. So the work done or the potential energy stored is equal to 1 by 2 into Q square divided by C. This is one form of the potential energy stored, or one of the expression. We can consider another expression also. See, we know that C is equal to Q by V. Therefore, Q equal to C into V. So what is the potential energy then? Potential energy equal to half into Instead of Q, you have to substitute CV. So Q square is C square V square divided by what? Divided by C. So CC will get cancelled. So potential energy can also be written as half into C into V square. So these two expressions are considered to be the energy stored in the capacitor, and the energy stored is the potential energy of the potential energy of the capacitor. So this expression or these expressions gives this expression and this one. So we can write these expressions gives the energy, or we can say like this, the electrostatic potential energy, or called to be electrostatic potential energy of a capacitor, of a capacitor. See, when you are charging the capacitor, the energy is stored. The same energy will be given out when the charges in the capacitor is made to come out. When the charges in the capacitor are made to come out means, then we are calling it out as discharging. What do you mean by discharging? Discharging means the charges stored in the capacitor is made to given out. So if the charges are leaked out from the capacitor or taken out from the capacitor, the same amount of energy is released. So we can take like this: during discharge, the same amount of what? The same amount of energy is released. Energy is released. So we can say when the charge is stored in the capacitor, potential energy is also stored. When the charges are taken out or when the charges are released, then energy stored is also released from what? Energy stored is also released from the capacitor. Hope you should have understood. After calculating the small work done in order to to be stored in, that is small work done means in order to store a small amount of charge, then you integrate, you can able to get the total work done, which is equal to the total energy called to be electrostatic potential energy stored in the capacitor. Right. So we are going to study about total energy stored in grouped capacitors. What is the total energy stored in grouped capacitors? We are having two groupings, two combinations. Number one, series combination. So in case of series combination, what is the total energy? See, in general, what is our formula? In general, we can say that the total energy epsilon is equal to half into CV square, one of the formula, or we can write potential energy is equal to half into Q square divided by C. Instead of C, I am putting CS. Here also, instead of C, I am putting CS. How I am taking the second one? How I can write half into Q square into 1 by CS. But in case of the series combination, we know that 1 by CS is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3, etc. Therefore, total potential energy is half into Q square into, instead of 1 by CS, you put 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 plus etc. So we can write this also in this fashion: half into, multiplied with Q square, you will be able to get Q square divided by C1 plus Q square, see like this, Q1 Q square divided by C1 plus Q square divided by C2 plus Q square divided by C3 plus etc. Or you can also write by multiplying with 1 by 2, potential energy equal to Q square divided by 2C1 plus Q square divided by 2C2 plus Q square divided by 2C3 plus etc. What is this Q square divided by 2C? What is Q square divided by 2C? It is half into Q square by C is the capacitance of individual energy stored in individual capacitance. So when you are adding this, we can write this expression as total potential energy in series combination is equal to sum of energy stored in individual capacitances. Am I correct? Energy stored in individual capacitances. Or I can write like this: epsilon is equal to epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2 plus epsilon 3, etc. Because half into Q square by C1 is the energy stored in the first capacitor. This is energy stored in the second capacitor. This is energy stored in the third capacitor. So in general, I am saying that the total potential energy of the capacitance in grouping is equal to sum of the energy stored in individual capacitance. Hope you should have understood.
Nice.
Next one. What is the next one? We have to consider about the parallel combination. What is the total energy stored in parallel combination? See, in order to study about this, you go for this formula. What formula? Potential energy is equal to half into CV square. You use this formula. Instead of C, you have to put CP. So what is the CP? We know that our CP
C1
equal to C1
plus
C2
C3.
plus C3, etc. So the total potential energy is given by half into V square into C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus etc. So what you can able to get now, epsilon is equal to half into C1, isn't it? C1 V square plus half into C2 V square plus half into C3 V square plus etc. So which is equal to half CV square is, here also I can say this is the total potential and the potential energy stored in the first capacitor. Half CV square, this is potential energy stored in the second capacitor. This is potential energy stored in the third capacitor. Like this going on. Therefore, again, I can write the same conclusion. So total energy in parallel combination is equal to whatever you will be able to get the sum of energy stored in individual capacitances or capacitors. This is called to be what? This is called to be parallel combination. So we can say that what is the conclusion arrived? The conclusion arrived is if the capacitors are in parallel or in series, then the total energy stored is always equal to sum of the individual energy stored in each and every capacitors in that group. Hope you should have understood. The energy density is defined as energy per unit volume. Energy per unit volume. What is this energy per unit volume? So I can write like this: energy density is equal to total energy stored in the capacitor. Total energy stored in the capacitor divided by what is that? Volume, divided by volume of the capacitor, or volume, actually volume of electrical field. So energy density is defined as energy per unit volume or potential energy per unit volume. If you want, you can able to calculate this. See, let us consider like this. We know the value of the capacitance C is equal to epsilon 0 into A divided by D. This is the expression for capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor, isn't it? Parallel plate capacitor. If you are considering the energy, we know that energy available is half into C into V square. If it is half into C into V square, then I can write the formula as half into, instead of C, I can write epsilon 0 into A divided by D into V square. So we are considering this as epsilon half into epsilon 0 into A into V square divided by D. What I am doing this as, I am multiplying this equation with, or I am doing like this. Say epsilon is equal to half into epsilon 0 into A into V square divided by D. V by D is electrical field E. Now what I am going to do is I am going to multiply with the D and divide it with the D. So the value of the value of potential energy never changes. So how I can write this, rearrange this equation? Can I write like this? Half into epsilon 0 into A into D multiplied it with V square divided by D square. Am I correct? But we know that electrical field E is equal to V by D. Therefore, V square divided by D square can be replaced with the E square. So, how I can write the potential energy now? Potential energy is given by the formula half into epsilon 0 into this A into D, area into distance, multiplied it with the E square. But what happens to area into D? Area multiplied with the length is nothing but volume V, volume of the capacitor V, where the electrical field is stored. Because in the parallel plate capacitor, the area of the plate is considered to be A, and the distance between the two plates is considered to be D. In between the two only you are having the electrical field. So area into distance gives you the volume in which the electrical field is available. So A into D is volume. So how I can write potential energy equal to half into epsilon 0 into volume, capital V into E square. Take this volume to the other side. You can get potential energy per unit volume. This is called to be what? This is called to be energy density. So what is the formula for energy density then? Half into epsilon 0 into E square. This is called to be the energy density, expression for energy density. Expression for energy density. See, if you are having the capacitor with the medium other than air, then you have to introduce a constant K or epsilon R. See, if it is in the same case, let us consider it as a special case. If the capacitor is filled up with a dielectric, other than air, then the energy density is equal to half into epsilon 0 into dielectric constant K or epsilon R into E square, which can be written as half into, when I am multiplying these two, I can get epsilon into E square, where epsilon is permittivity of the medium. Permittivity of the medium. புரிஞ்சுதா?